the Pixar Shared Universe Theory. According to this theory, every Pixar movie exists in the same timeline. It begins with Brave, where magic is first introduced through the witch and her experiments in shapeshifting. This magic does not disappear. It mutates animals and objects, giving rise to new intelligent life forms. Centuries later, this explains the highly organized society of bugs in A Bug's Life. As time progresses, artificial intelligence becomes more advanced, leading to the sentient toys in Toy Story. These toys demonstrate not only self-awareness but also emotions, suggesting technology is evolving at the same rate as magic once did. The same development eventually explains the sentient vehicles in cars, existing in a world where humans have disappeared but their machines carry on. Eventually, humans destroy the Earth, which leads directly to Wall-E. In this stage of the timeline, humans abandon the planet, leaving machines behind. Once Earth recovers, animals take dominance and live in worlds that mirror human society, like Finding Nemo and Ratatouille. The Wizard of Oz was just a dream. This theory suggests that Dorothy never left Kansas at all. Instead, the entire land of Oz is imagined inside her mind. The tornado that supposedly carried her away is actually a metaphor for her mental transition from reality to a dream. The biggest evidence comes from the characters like the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, who are clear reflections of the farmhands Dorothy knew in real life, while the Wicked Witch resembles her cruel neighbor, Miss Gulch. These parallels indicate that Dorothy imagined her real world into a fantasy version to cope with the struggles of her daily life. Another crazy theory for this movie is the hidden similarities in Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon album. If you guys know this theory, let me know in the comments. Jar Jar Binks was a Sith Lord. One of the most interesting theories in Star Wars is that Jar Jar Binks was originally meant to be a Sith Lord. Fans noticed how often he uses hand gestures similar to Jedi mind tricks, and how suspiciously lucky he is in battle, surviving scenarios that should have killed him. The theory suggests Jar Jar's clumsy persona was a cover for his true identity. His political influence even helps Palpatine rise to power, suggesting manipulation rather than coincidence. George Lucas once hinted that Jar Jar was supposed to be more important than the final films allowed. Ferris Bueller never existed. This theory argues that Ferris Bueller is not real, but instead a creation of Cameron's imagination. Cameron, the nervous best friend in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, dreams up Ferris as the confident, charming alter ego he wishes he could be. In the movie, Ferris is everything that Cameron lacks, like charisma, bravery, and control over authority. He dances in parades, manipulates teachers, and somehow always gets away with it. Cameron's main story arc in the film is about confronting his fear of his father. By creating Ferris, Cameron gives himself the push he needs to finally stand up for himself. Ever notice that Ferris never appears without Cameron? James Bond is a code name. This theory states that James Bond is not one person, but instead a code name passed down to different agents who inherit the title of 007. This explains how Bond appears with entirely different faces, personalities, and even timelines over the decades. The biggest support comes from the way each new actor takes on the role seamlessly without acknowledgement of change. Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig all play Bond, yet none of the supporting characters question why he looks different. By treating James Bond as a title, the films can continue to make endless movies without having to worry about actors. Willy Wonka was a serial killer. This theory about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory argues that Wonka was not just an unusual character, but deliberately orchestrating the demise of each child who visited his factory. Each child faces a fate directly tied to their personal flaw. Augustus Gloop drowns in chocolate because of gluttony. Violet Beauregarde swells from chewing gum due to pride. Veruca Salt falls into the trash because of greed, and Mike Teavee is destroyed by his obsession with television. These punishments could be seen as a lesson to kids, although there is no evidence that each kid survived. The part that makes this so suspicious is Wonka's reaction to all of this. He never appears surprised when these accidents happen. Instead, he seems prepared. This theory states that the Chocolate Factory was less a candy paradise and more a carefully designed trap, with Charlie selected as the final survivor because he resisted corruption. Harry Potter was dead all along. This theory of the Harry Potter series suggests that Harry actually died at the very beginning. In this theory, the Dursleys' abusive household represents a form of purgatory. When Hagrid arrives to take Harry to Hogwarts, it symbolizes a guide leading him into the afterlife. Hogwarts itself becomes heaven, a place where Harry finally finds belonging, love, and meaning. Luke Hobbs is a Terminator. This theory suggests that Luke Hobbs, played by The Rock, is not a normal human, but a Terminator. His strength and durability in the movie are not like your normal human. Hobbs survives falls, car crashes, and even direct gunfire with almost no injuries, surviving damage that would kill any ordinary man. Remember when he broke his arm in Furious 7 but later flexed out of his cast to rejoin the action? On top of this, his behavior is also robotic. Hobbs speaks in short and precise sentences, almost like programmed responses.
Woman, I am the cavalry.
He operates with military efficiency, tracks enemies with unhuman precision. In a universe already filled with exaggerated physics and impossible stunts, the idea of Hobbs being a machine isn't too out of the ordinary. Finding Nemo is a hallucination of grief. In this theory, Nemo never survives the Barracuda attack at the beginning of the film. Marlin loses both his wife and his unborn children, leaving him completely alone. The name Nemo itself backs up this theory. In Latin, Nemo literally means no one. The title Finding Nemo could really mean finding no one. The entire journey is Marlin's desperate attempt to hold on to hope, creating a fantasy world where his son exists and can be rescued. Each challenge he faces along the way, like fear, control, trust, each represents stages of grief and healing. By the end, when Marlin supposedly finds Nemo and learns to let him grow up, it symbolizes acceptance.
The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park aren't real dinosaurs. This theory is based on the idea that the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are not a recreation of actual dinosaurs, but instead, they are genetic mutations designed to look and act how people expect dinosaurs to behave. This comes directly from lines in the first film, where scientists admit they had to fill the gaps in the DNA with other animals' genetic material. This explains why many species in the films don't match real dinosaurs. For instance, velociraptors are depicted as human-sized predators, when in reality they were much smaller than humans. The T-Rex's behavior and even appearance are also much different from fossil records.
The Joker was a war veteran. This theory argues that Heath Ledger's Joker was once a soldier, and his skills and trauma stem from his time in combat. His high-level knowledge of how to use explosives, firearms, and other military-grade weapons and tactics suggests training far beyond that of a criminal. He executes robberies with military-style planning, hijacks armored convoys with precision, and handles high-pressure combat without hesitation.
His scars and constantly shifting backstory also fit with someone suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. The chaos he unleashes on Gotham could be seen as a distorted philosophy learned from war, like the idea that rules and order are meaningless in the face of violence. His obsession with proving that anyone can descend into madness mirrors the disillusionment of a soldier who has seen too much destruction. This theory redefines the Joker not as a random villain, but as a broken veteran whose skills and views on the world were shaped by the horrors of battle. It explains his competence, disregard for human life, and his mission to reveal the cruelty of the world. Neo is still in the Matrix. This theory claims Neo never actually escapes the simulation, even after he wakes up. The hints add up. He uses impossible powers in the real world, like stopping sentinels with his mind and sensing machines at a distance that shouldn't be possible outside the Matrix. The architect talks about earlier versions hinting that the machines built a second layer of Matrix within a Matrix to trap rebels who think they're free. Zion functions like a controlled sandbox. Morpheus's unwavering faith fits the design, and Neo's visions feel like programmed updates, not miracles. The idea reframes his entire journey as another level of manipulation, a rebellion the machines predicted and managed. The briefcase in Pulp Fiction holds Marcellus Wallace's soul. This theory says the glowing case isn't gold or cash, it's something supernatural. Fans point to the combo 666, the glow that stuns everyone who sees it, and the bandage on Marcellus's neck as a nod to folklore claiming the devil removes the soul from the back of the head. Every detail lines up too neatly for it to be a coincidence. The way characters stare in silent awe when it opens the golden light that bathes their faces, and the almost sacred care Vincent and Jules take in retrieving it. It's not just valuable, it's sacred, or maybe even cursed, depending on who's looking at it. Tarantino never confirms what's inside, but the clues lean hard toward the soul theory. Even the bandage on Marcellus's neck feels deliberate, as if covering the exact spot where his soul was taken. The case isn't treasure, it's restitution. Every character's obsession with recovering it mirrors a desperate scramble to reclaim what was lost, suggesting the entire film revolves around one man's deal with the devil and his fight to get his soul back. Frodo's dying dream in The Lord of the Rings. This theory argues that Frodo never actually survives the stab wound from the Morgul blade on Weathertop. After that moment, everything that happens in The Lord of the Rings plays out like a vivid hallucination in his final moments. His miraculous recovery, the sudden arrival of mythic heroes, and a journey that feels more symbolic than real. Each event reflects a struggle within Frodo's fading consciousness. The ring as his pain and guilt, Sam as loyalty and strength, Gandalf as a guiding spirit leading him toward peace. Rivendell, Lothlorien, and Shire's restoration feel too perfect, like a comforting dream protecting him from the truth. And when Frodo finally sails to the Undying Lands, the moment reads less as travel and more as transcendence. The entire trilogy becomes not a heroic journey, but Frodo's peaceful passing. The events of Inception are all a dream. This theory argues Cobb never actually wakes up, and the whole heist is his subconscious working through grief. The spinning top never clearly falls. The kids appear unchanged with the same clothes and same ages, like a mental loop. Dream physics leak everywhere with folding cities, elastic time, and scene transitions that slide too smoothly. Characters behave more like helpful projections guiding Cobb instead of independent people. Even the last-minute phone call feels like it went too well. The heist is more like therapy compared to a crime. The objective wasn't really corporate sabotage, but accepting Mal's death. And the ending plays like Cobb, choosing the dream because it's the only reality that brings him peace. Gilligan's Island is purgatory. According to this theory, the castaways on Gilligan's Island are not stranded survivors, but souls trapped in purgatory. Each character represents one of the 7 deadly sins. The skipper embodies wrath, Ginger represents lust, the professor symbolizes pride, Marianne's innocence is bordering on envy, Mr. Howell is greed, Mrs. Howell is gluttony, and Gilligan himself is the devil keeping them trapped. The real reason they never escape despite countless opportunities? Gilligan is sabotaging every attempt. He smiles innocently, but in this theory he's preventing them from leaving because their punishment is never ending. The island itself functions as an in-between state, neither heaven nor hell, where the characters must endlessly repeat their lives, never moving forward. Thank you for watching, and if you have any other theories you'd like me to talk about in the next video, please comment and let me know.